Welcome back to another episode of the Brilliant Mompreneurs podcast. This is going to be another special episode where Lauren is coming on with me and we're doing a live coaching session with her to create her custom cash formula. And if you've not heard of this term yet, this is something I teach my clients, I use for myself, for people I work with, to find out how can we get that goal number. What exactly do we need? Do we have enough time to even make this offer? It's marrying in our time plus the offer we're making and the cash goals that we have to give us a very specific target number of clients that we need to reach, so we know how many people we need to reach every single month for sales and leads and conversations. It's just a great way to make your business simplified and very achievable. So we did a whole challenge on this, the Customize Your Cash Challenge. If you missed the challenge from last month, don't worry. We have the workshop coming up, and you can find out all of that information in the Facebook group, the Brilliant Mompreneur Society. So click the link in the show notes or go to Facebook, the Brilliant Mompreneur Society, and you'll see the event there so you can register and not miss out on that. So if you have been wondering, I want to make another $5,000, I want another $8,000 in my business, whatever that number is in the next few months, you can use the custom cash formula for yourself. So listen in as we go through this process with Lauren and see the results that she gets.
Hey everyone, I am excited to be going live with Lauren today. She is a dear friend of mine and she has so graciously said she would come on here and we could go live and walk through her custom cash formula together. She's in Canada, which is why she's wearing this really cute sweater, and I'm in short sleeves. I'm in Texas. So we're kind of across the country, across the world from each other. But if you're watching live, feel free to ask questions and participate. I've got the chat up so I can see. But welcome. Lauren, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us about you and what you do and how many kids you got, all the things.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you so much for having me. It's my pleasure. I'm super excited to be here. So yes, I'm from Canada. I always wear sweaters because it is cold here. It's not that cold. I mean, I'm on the West Coast, but yes, I am a mom of two. I have two little boys and I have two sides of my business. So on one side of my business, I have a group coaching program and I help teachers stop working evenings and weekends so they can spend more time with their kids and feel more present and all those things. And then the other side of my business, which is what we're going to be talking about today, is I am a coach and a consultant for online expert business owners. And I help them set up systems, streamline their systems. I help them with their program design. I help them create like launch plans and project plans so they can make the most of their time without working too much outside of work hours. Yeah.
I love it. And so if you know any teachers, they need to talk to Lauren because she is the queen of efficiency. And really what has come from this is business owners like myself have come to you and be like, all right, Lauren, you're the techie nerd. You know how to make this work better. You can see the gaps. Your skills have moved into other like situations. So now we've realized that you have this, you want to really bring in some extra cash from it. So your group program is working great. You have your strategy set up for that and expectations for that, and you know what you need to do to hit those goals. So today we're going to work on your formula for just this one side. And I wanted to let you guys know, like, don't be afraid to take this formula that we walked through the last couple of days and do it for pieces of your business. So that's what we're going to be doing here on today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up the whiteboard, Lauren. We're going to do a new whiteboard here and just get a visual going.
Awesome.
Make it easy breezy. Okay. So we always start with the goal. What is your goal number that you want to be making from your business? And quick caveat, is this recurring income, monthly income? What is the goal here?
So when you say what my goal is for my business, are you talking about this particular side of my business, right?
This particular side of your business. So this offer that we're working on today, how much would you like to bring in from this offer?
I always like to think about my hours first.
Okay, well then let's do that because that's part of the formula. Let's do that. Okay, so let's go
So
with hours first.
I was thinking ideally, I mean, maybe I might get to the point where this is too much, but I think it would be sustainable for me for right now is to have, I'd love to have 2 days of 4 hours of one-on-one clients. So like say
Okay,
that would be 8 hours a week of one-on-one clients.
8 per week. Okay, and this is, and I just want to like talk it through so that everybody knows. You have already pulled this number out from, and this is separate from your marketing hours, your admin hours, and what you're currently doing in your other program, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So if we hadn't, Lauren had already done this work. If you hadn't already done this work, we would have need to really focus in and say, okay, how do I know how hours I want to dedicate to this one offer? And that's where we would do the math and pull this number out after we'd made sure we had enough time for marketing, enough time for admin, and delivering the program that you're currently selling and offering. So I like to multiply this by 4 because we're going to do like monthly income goals here.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't do math in my head. You might, but I don't. So we got 32 per month, right?
I was like, I think it's 32, but people are watching me. What if I'm wrong? Go ahead.
That's always my fear is this is the thing is, oh, I dropped my pen. I was very confident about my math skills at one point, and then I said completely wrong things on a live and got corrected. And I was like, I'm not doing that again. So, okay.
Yeah, teachers have corrected me many times, and I'm like, oh, well, it's okay. So there's a grammar mistake, Okay.
I bet you do when you're working with teachers. Got that. So we have our time here, and then we have our offer, and then sales, and then the goal, just so we can visualize it. All right. Do you know what the package is that you want to sell? Have you determined what the price is of what you're going to offer?
Yeah. So, and I mean, I'm open to all feedback that you have for me. Right now, I have sessions that are $250 per session for like an hour-long session with me.
Okay.
At one point, I was doing like you could either like do it like a la carte, which would be like $250 per session, or if you sign up for 7 sessions, you can basically get it for the price of 6. So that's where I went at. But right now, I kind of like to just stick to $250 per session.
All right, let's just do the $250 per session just for consistency's sake for the moment, and that's per 1 hour.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we have our offer price, how much time it takes to deliver, and then what is the goal number that you have for the month? So let's skip the sales and go to the goal.
I calculated that at 8,000, which would be amazing. I mean, honestly, 5,000 would be stellar, but 8,000 would be amazing.
Okay, so we want 8K. All right. Okay, so what I do to work this math out is we take that 8,000 and divide it by 250. We're going to come up with 32. Wow, this is exactly if you were to completely book yourself out with 32 hours, you would be perfect, exactly with what you planned. You would get the 8K. Mm-hmm. So I always check the math here to make sure like this equals this amount of time we've expected. So our time that we have allotted is equal to the amount of sales. That means your price is right on for what you have available. You can totally make that 8K if you booked out all those hours available. Mm-hmm. So that's good news. That's like really awesome. And then also we can know like if you did bump this up to $297 per hour from $250 to $297, you would then increase that would be how I would increase your like to 10K. Yeah. If you were like next in a couple months after we've gotten a roll on this and you said, oh, I want to increase, or maybe I want to work less than 32 hours, I would bump that number up to 297.
Nice.
So how does this feel just starting here?
That feels super exciting. And it just dawned on me actually that 250 is I charge in USD. So Canadian, actually. I just I didn't even think about that. It's more than that for me. So yeah, it's feeling
Okay.
awesome.
Yeah, that's really good. Good. Awesome. So what the next thing I would look at is we know we need to sell 32 hours. The question I like to start to go deeper in on is how many on average hours do you sell to your current clients? So I know you have just done a few of these packages working with different ones. What is the average, or what do you feel would like be beneficial? So let's say I come to you and I say, Lauren, I really need help with my group program, getting it set up and making it work better. It's not working right. It's not working efficiently. It's taking up a lot of time. What would you ideally tell me would start me out with? Instead of me just buying 1 hour at a time, what would you want me to buy?
Yeah, like a lot of my clients start out and they'll tell me like, I just feel really scattered and like I don't have enough hours in the workday to get everything done. So I end up working late while my kids are here and then I don't feel present with them. I don't feel present. And so if that's their situation and they're feeling like pulled in all directions, that's when I usually go for like a 6 week kind of a thing. So I've gone is that what I said? Yeah, like a 6 or 7 session. So that's when I did the 7 sessions and it was
Okay.
bi-weekly. Yeah. So I saw them every 2 weeks. I would say usually most clients I've seen every 2 weeks, and we start with six. And I'd like to cut the 7 sessions and just make it like 6 sessions,
Okay.
250 per session. Yeah.
All right. Let's take that out.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to do 6 sessions. And let's just put that in a package price, 250 times 6. That's 1,500. So then let's go back to that 8K number and divide that by 1,500. And we're looking at like 5.3. So really, like, if you got 5 to 6 clients, you would be in the next 6 weeks, you would hit that 8K number.
The only thing that, and this is when it gets complicated to me, is a lot of my clients opt for like monthly. So they'll pay me like $500 a month for
Over
3
a
months.
3 month period. Okay. So then we could do some math around that. So let's
And maybe
go
I should
back.
do something where it's like if you pay in full, you get a better deal. I haven't done that yet, but
I would actually, so the better deal is to pay in full for 1,500. If they go to monthly, I would charge a $40 fee per child for like add like, so look at your credit card charges, how much you lose a percentage of, and add that to each charge. So let's say it's $30 you lose off the top for every credit card transaction. I would change to, do 530. So you can do 3 payments of $530, or you can pay in full for 1,500. If you want to make it more lucrative than that, you can always do more than that. But I would make the 1,500 your discounted pay in full range. Does that feel good?
yeah, I mean, it feels like a little bit of a stretch, but not huge. Like it feels like because I've been charging 250 for like, well, 250 plus like that free session. So I mean, a little bit less than that for like 6 months. So I do feel like I could kind of stretch it a little bit now. Yeah.
I think you could stretch a little bit, especially with the results you've been getting. So if, and how, again, this number that they're investing is giving them back so much time and then allowing them to increase their sales because it's working more efficiently with less of their time. They're easily going to recoup this cost. And we've proven that already with what you've worked with, So I would reference anytime you start to have that self-doubt of like, oh, I'm charging more. It's like, I've already proven that they're going to recoup this cost so quickly. Within 6 months, they're going to have made this money back, not just their money back, but their time.
Mm-hmm.
So you're giving them back some pretty big stuff. Let's look at like, this is a 3-month thing. So I'm going to redo some of this formula. You'll just draw it in. And we're going to say this is $500 per month. And if it's over a 3-month period, it's 2 hours a month.
Yeah. Yeah, that feels more accurate, I would say. Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to redo this formula with that. I'm going to go here. Divided by 500. So 16. So if you work your way up to 16 clients that are just always rolling, you will be at that AK.
Oh, I like that. Okay, cool. That feels like, okay,
So
now I know. Yeah.
exactly. So what if you wanted to like have a runway, you could split it into, oh, I just need to get 4 every month, and like every month just always have 4 coming on, because 4 will be going off if we're on that 4 month, like, or maybe you'll have renewals, but I need either 4, someone to doing 4 either renewals or new clients coming on every month, and then I will be at 16 in 4 months. If we want to do it faster, we can look at, I can do 8 this month and 8 next month, and by January I'll be at 8K.
Yeah, that feels cool because I've already got 2 so far this month. So
Right. So there you go. So we can create some runway and perspective to say, okay, I have, this is my goal, and then we can start to break it down. And then the next step after I know this number, I start to come in and do 3 more numbers, which is, so we have our conversion, conversations, and connections. So the number, like, we could talk about next. So we need 16 sales. We need conversion opportunities. So how many of those people that we talk to, we need to get on a phone call, like discovery calls. What is your closing rate? So let's say you close at a really high rate of like 90, 80%. So maybe you only need to get on 20 to 25 sales calls to get to that 16, because you're like, hey, I know these people really, really well. They already know what they want. It's going to be easier to close them. That means also maybe my conversations that I'm having before I get them onto a sales call, I'm talking to them about their needs. I'm talking to them about what's missing, what do they need. I'm telling them about my offer. Maybe I'm talking to like 30 to 45 people in my conversation.
And
These
is
are
this
hot leads.
this is total, right? Like this is to hit my goal. This isn't like per week or something like.
No, this is like over the month, like over the next few weeks and months. Like in the next 2 months, if you had 20 to 25 sales calls and conversations, if like, it's again, do we want a 4-month runway? Let's ask you this question. Do we want a 4-month runway, or do we want a 2-month runway, a 3-month runway? What would be your goal right now? How fast do you want to hit this 8K?
I mean, I would love to hit it faster. It's just like, to me, I guess it feels like, is that really possible? Like, I guess I would say a 4
Well,
months feels like more possible.
4 months feels more possible. So let's do like a ease goal and then a stretch goal is what I would say. We can always accelerate that, but let's build there is a lot of holiday stuff coming on. The kids are going to be out of school. So we don't want to be in necessarily a push mode during the holidays. So giving yourself that space could be really great for your nervous system. So to get to this 16K, we need to about this many conversion sales calls over the next 4 months. Remember, our goal would be 4 per month sales.
Mm-hmm.
So our conversations could be like 5 to 7 per month. That could look what it looks like for you for discovery calls, 5 to 7 discovery calls per month. And then your conversations, these could be in the DMs, it could be on mastermind calls, it could be other, like in threads where you're answering questions in Facebook groups. It could be at networking events. Again, if we're doing per month, let's do like probably like 8 to 10, let's say 8 to 15 conversations per month. And then the connections number, that is really reliant on you. How many you like to determine like how many people do I need to start connecting with? And that can be as simple as you talking to your people you already know. It could be asking people who you do know or who you've worked with to say, could you refer me? All of those things are actions you can take to get to those conversations. And then, of course, using something like 10 and 10 Connect, which is an additional 10 minutes of marketing. It could be also your email list that you're building and a freebie that you're offering. That could be a connection point.
Cool.
Any questions? What's coming up? How do you feel?
Most of it feels feels really good because I have to say, like, my conversion rate working with entrepreneurs and like the number of people I need to talk to is so much lower because than it is with teachers. Like I can talk to like 90 teachers in a week and that won't necessarily get me a sale. So that's feeling super good because I know once I talk to them and if they're the right fit, like most people buy pretty, I think I've had maybe 2 no's, like most of them are like yeses, which is awesome.
Okay.
The only thing I guess I'm like hesitant on is like getting from like just talking to someone as like, do you know what I mean? Like that place to getting to like the connections with the right person. That's where I'm kind of like,
So finding the person that you want to work with, is that
yeah,
where it is? Making that initial connection. All right. So when we talk about that,
like predictable or more systematic or planned out. Yeah.
So you can pick different methods. You know, you and I have had some conversations already, kind of know a little bit of the direction of what you want. Because this is an offer different than what you're normally doing on your Instagram right now. You don't really want to make another Instagram page and confuse your people or have too many pages to manage. So for you, making connections could be you creating a really awesome freebie that you can advertise in entrepreneur communities where your people, your ideal people, are hanging out, and using like the 10 and 10 Connect method where you're going to just spend 10 minutes a day getting connected with that community and offering this freebie and getting email signups and making that really intentional. That could be your first connection. And then your conversations can start in the email list.
That feels good. I think that's what it is like getting to the point where it's like if you're on my email list, then you know I have something you might be interested in buying from me, you might not. Like then it feels appropriate, but it's always that line of like coming from like a colleague to you offering, like you being interested in what I offer, kind of a thing.
Okay, so that's another level we could look at for taking your connection of a colleague. So if you like, I'm a colleague here, you already have talked to me, we have a relationship of some sort. The conversation would turn to you saying, hey, tell me about your goals right now. What are you creating? And getting curious about what they're doing. Conversations, I call them conversation funnels. If we think about them as getting really curious and seeing the person that we're talking to and asking them questions and let them basically tell us what their needs are, we can then in the end say, that's exactly what I do. I just worked on that same problem with this client and we were able to do this, this, and this. Would you like to hear more about that? And so you literally are asking them, leading them the conversation. You're leading the conversation to the point where they're telling you where the pain point is. So for you specifically, coming up with questions that would say, like, did you start that group program you were talking about? That's amazing. How has it been going? What has been your biggest obstacle with starting your group program? Those kinds of questions will help you with creating those next pieces of the conversation, which will lead to you being able to offer, hey, that's exactly what I do. And because you've had this this funneled conversation where you've only been talking about them, what they want, how fast do they want it, where are the gaps, what's been frustrating to them, what's their obstacles, because that's all the conversation has been about. When you talk to them and say, that's what I can help you with, they're going to be like, yes, Lauren, would you just solve this problem? And they don't feel like you're just hopping in. Because if you hopped in and said, hey, Lani, I saw you started a group program. This is what I do. Are you interested in me helping you? I'm going to be like, Lauren, I'm not ready for a sales call. You know, it's going to turn me off a little bit. I'll be on the defensive because you're just assuming I don't have my crap together and I don't know what I'm doing with my program.
Right. And that's what I don't want to do.
Right, exactly. So let them tell you what the problems are with the conversation. And this is my favorite thing to do.
I think that's actually what's probably at the bottom of it is I had one call with somebody and I thought we were on the same page and she was going to meet with me. She talked like we'd gone through that whole thing and she was like, oh, I wasn't expecting you to sell to me. And I think that's holding me back because I'm like, I'm moving through it, but I think that's still the fear. I'm like, what if we're not on the same page and they get like, you know what I mean?
Okay, so here's what I would come in and say is like, I would reference in the conversation, this is what I helped a client just like you do. Or I just worked with someone and we solved a problem similar to this. Or I'm actually developing a new support system that solves this exact problem. I also would offer some phrases around like, hey, Lauren, I have several ideas of how we could solve this problem. And I don't want to make an offer to you that isn't quite, what you need. I need to know some more information. So if we jump on a call together, we can unpack this a little further, and then I can offer you some different levels of solutions and price points that could possibly answer this. So you're not like deceiving them to say, oh, I'm just jump on a call and I'm just going to be your buddy and solve the problem. It's weaving it in like, hey, I can help you. There's going to be a price point on it. I've helped other people. We solved this problem. Is this like, how urgent is this to solve for you? But I totally get that. Sometimes people just think, oh, we're going to help out of the kindness of our hearts. And I definitely understand that hope. But at the same time, like, I can't do free coaching forever and ever. Amen. Right? I have to feed my family.
I wouldn't expect anyone to either, of course. Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Right. And it just may have been like, oh, she was like, oh, I thought we were just getting on a friend call. And that's where you can say, like, this is my new offer. I don't know if you know this. This is another thing you might be able to weave in because, again, this is not your main offer on social media. So people might know this. You're like, I don't know if you know this, but I've started working with other businesses to do X, Y, and Z. And I'd love to talk to you more about that because this problem that you're feeling is exactly the things that I come in and solve and give creative plans and creative solutions for.
Yeah, I love that. That feels really good.
Yeah. Yeah. Just weave your personality into that conversation. And just, again, I remind myself, I take a breath and I say, okay, before I respond to that, especially if it's in text message or voice back and forth like Voxer or voice DM, I like to take that breath and say, how can I not feel salesy in this moment, and jump the gun, but also to say, okay, how can I be like excited and let them know like I can help you and there's a true solution here. So does that help walk you through how we can take those colleague connections and turn them into conversations that could potentially convert for you?
Yeah, I think so. And even I'm thinking like, if there's an event I'm going to go to next month for entrepreneurs, like, how can I genuinely want to connect with people. And then if there's someone who could be the right fit for me, who I could actually genuinely help, then I feel like I could like actually bring it to that point. And if I feel like they're the right fit for it and I like good about it, then I would kind of go in that direction. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just about asking questions and really seeing them for where they are and letting them tell you, because like that really helps everyone feel a lot more like, oh, okay, I see that you've all right, she can help me. Now I just got to figure out if I can afford it or if it's in my budget. That'd be great. And some people are going to be like, that's a no-brainer. Yes. So, and that's what we want for you. I know a couple people are watching. Any questions for Lauren or about this process? If you have any, and then Lauren, anything else that came up that you want to wrap up with? Thank you again for doing this. Go ahead,
Thank
Lauren.
you. Yeah. No, I think that feels pretty good. I think my main thing from here will be starting to like actually go out and going to more events, doing more networking, having that freebie that we were talking about. I think I'm going to have 2. And then I can also like, even as I'm talking to the person, I can say like, oh, I think they'd be better with this one or that one or whatever. So I do feel like I've got a plan going forward. It seems like, okay, I guess my last question for you, and I'd love if there is anyone watching here, please feel free to ask questions, would be, I'm not always about efficiency. I'm just about using my time well. I guess it's the same, but like being really intentional about my time, right? And my fear around networking sometimes is that it's not going to be a good use of my time because my time is, I want to make it really meaningful, right? So
Totally understand. So your fear is that you're going to go to these networking things and it's not going to convert to clients.
Or it's just going to be a waste of time, or I'm going to be in the wrong room, or it's just going to be a bunch of people who want to sell to me or whatever, like that. It's not going to be
Absolutely. I get that fear. And I will tell you, as for both online and in person, that's a possibility that it's not the room for you.
Mm-hmm.
That is, like, you could be in a Facebook group promoting yourself all day, every day, and it is just not, the people in there are not the people who want to work with you. They're not ready to buy at this package price. Like, they don't have $1,500 to spend.
Yeah,
Maybe
like
they're all just brand new entrepreneurs. Yeah, sometimes we just don't know. So I always look at it as like, can I commit to this time for 1 or 2 times to see and test the room? And even if that room is not completely full of your ideal person, it could have 1 or 2, or it could be people who do know your ideal person.
Mm-hmm.
And so I really feel like it's all in our intention and our energy whenever we're going out and connecting, is to say, I have an intention. I'm going to meet the right people, and I'm just going to go look for the right people. When I go with that intention to a networking event, especially in-person ones, and even online ones, I always meet somebody amazing, fascinating, and a great connection, because I'm setting that intention from the get-go. And I try not to picture or plan something. I just let it be open and say, for me personally, this helps me. You might have a little bit of adjustment, but to say, like, I know somebody here is the right connection for me. I'm going to look for them.
Yeah.
And then the next thing is also to follow up with the connections you make. Connections are enough. We can connect with a lot of people, but if we don't start the conversation or take the conversation to another level, it's never going to get to the conversion point. Because most people when they connect with us, aren't going to be like, I need to hire you right now. That's happened. Don't get me wrong. I've had that happen where I've walked into a place, they met me one time, they're like, how can I hire you? That has happened. That's really cool. But majority is they connect with us, and then it's up to me to create the conversation, keep the conversation going. I have somebody on my list right now that I'm like, I haven't talked to her in a couple of weeks. I want to check in. How are you doing? Is this still a problem?
Yeah, I really like that. And I think it's like, when I go into an event or I go to a workshop or something, I come with the intention that I'm going to get what I need, and then I get what I need back because you're looking for that, right? So
exactly. So all of this process is in Empowered to Profit More. And we're going to walk through and intentionally break it down. Like, how do I connect? What's the messaging? What's the freebie I should be offering? How do I talk about it? Get that in demand, the conversation. How do I track these conversations? Because that's a whole other thing. Like, how do I know when like did I talk to this person? What was the thing I talked about? When do I follow up with them? Because conversations can happen within a day or two. It can happen over a month or two. I have conversations that I've been having for a year with people, and I'm just constantly keeping them engaged because I know that they are a good fit for working with me, and I'm not going to pressure them to say, "Oh, well, if you didn't buy today, we're done. You're like you're dead to me." But I don't I don't think that's the way we should do it, right? So, and then how do we convert them to sales and keep this whole process going and moving? Empowered to Profit More is where you're going to get all the support for making this happen. So if you're listening in and you're like, this is amazing, I want to do this in my business, we can talk about it. I'm going to put the link to the application for Empowered to Profit More to hear more about it, to see if you're a good fit and get that in because we have spots, we have room for you to come jump in now and get plugged in so that this can be happening. Because what if in 4 months you were making $1,000 just like Lauren? Like with this plan, that's what's possible.
And the
And
thing too that I have to do a plug for Lani is like she is so like just creative and really really hears you. Like you're not gonna like if you're listening, like Lani's not gonna just like say, oh, this is my system, you need to follow it and here's how to do it. It's like she'll have her framework, but Lani is always going to modify it and really listen to what you need, and she'll give you different ideas that are really going to work for you.
yeah, thank you. And that's my intention with this whole program. And that's why I call this whole challenge to customize your cash because we have to customize it to you. Your time, the offer you want to make. Even you just, I could feel your like energy around. I don't think I want to do that aggressive push right now during the holidays. Okay, but there might be somebody here who's listening saying, I want to do that aggressive push. I think I could get 8 people a month and I could make this happen. So we can all like relieve some of that pressure to be like everyone else and say, how can I be the best version of me and make the business work for me in my best version? And that's where we find success. That's where it works and business feels easy and fun. And that's the goal. Is like, I love it when you told me the other day that you had got another client for the business to business. I'm like, this just lights you up. Like it gets you excited about working. Like you're like, I love doing this. I would do this all day long. And that's that fulfillment piece.
Like I can't believe people
Oh,
pay me to do this. It's so fun. Yeah,
yeah,
totally.
exactly. So you got a lot of fulfillment in your business. You have good energy. This excites you. It feels easy. It feels like really great to do. It's something you enjoy doing, and then it fits with the time that you have. And now we can make the income work. So we got profit in all 4 areas because of putting this together. And I'm so excited to see it come to life with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Lani. It's been awesome.
Yes, thank you guys. And I hope this helped you with learning about the process and doing it for yourself. And I totally did not put in the chat the the link to the Empowered to Profit. I'm gonna have to go find it because I'm like totally can't find it on my desktop right now. It's here somewhere. I can't talk and type at the same time. That's my problem. So I'm gonna put the application for Empowered to Profit right here in the chat. There we go. And we have some fun bonuses. So if you want to find out what those are, one of them is a strategy mapping call. That's going to be even deeper than this when you join the program, where we're going to map out your next 6 months and income growth and plan and strategy, what you need and where your gaps are. So if you want to do this yourself, go ahead and put in that application and find out how that can happen for you. So thank you again, Lauren, and we'll talk to you guys tomorrow.